What's up, world? It is Tuesday, and this is Tuesday Tea Time. I just want to welcome you all on. I see a few of you guys on here. It's great. I'm getting started. Just before I get started, though, I want to remind you, would you please like us and also subscribe, especially if in YouTube. We're trying to grow up our viewership there, our followers, so love for you to do that. Every week, we're going to be kicking out content, and we want to make sure that every week you're going to meet somebody fresh. You're going to hear their story of the creative or good things they're doing, and you're also going to get some kind of really cool tool. Nancy and Kristen, always good to see you guys on here. We want to make sure you get that. So if you haven't yet, go ahead, like it. Go ahead, like it. And if you have, subscribe and make sure you share with somebody else out there in the world so that they can get the good things that are happening around here. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is going to be a lot of fun. I've got the three amigos with me today who are doing some pretty cool things in the world. I've got Anil Kanda, who is the Youth and Young Adult Director for Central California Conference. I've got Eric Vandenberg, who is the Youth and Young Adult Director for the Hawaii Conference. I know, jealous. And then, of course, we've got Aaron Renneker from the Southeastern California Conference. And all of these guys are doing some pretty amazing things in the world that they're in. So be ready for some fantastic, fun things that we're going to be doing today. But before we get there, I also want to put out that we are doing the Say Hello campaign. We started here in Southern California Conference. That's coming out of our communications department. They're doing some fantastic stuff. They're being run by Lauren Laxon and Araya, and they're, man, let me tell you, if some people are doing some really cool things, it's these ladies right here. They can throw down. So one of the things that they're wanting to do is they want to introduce more of us to all of us. If you happen to be living up in, like, Ojai, or if you're living out in Long Beach, if you're living in Cerritos, and maybe you haven't really met a lot of people, or maybe you just are doing some really cool stuff, please share yourself with us. You can go to sec.adventist.org/say hello. Today, I want to introduce you to Ellen Quintana. Quintana. I'm probably just butchering her name, but she's good people. She is the music director for the Vallejo Drive Church in Glendale. She's the leader of the choir there. And during this season of the COVID-19 pandemic, she's been leading them through recreating their church choir experience into an evangelistic tour de force. So here's to you, Elena. Thank you so much for creating beauty in a season of ashes. If you'd like to be put up, make sure that you reach out to us and get connected, and go over to sec.adventist.org/say hello, and you'll get an opportunity to do that. And of course, next week, we're going to be talking with a firefighter. I know I've been kind of promising this to you guys for weeks now, but we wanted to make sure we were able to find somebody who would do a fantastic job, and who was available, because of so many fires up and down the West Coast that we've been dealing with. It hasn't been quite easy to find someone. Ricardo J. Hernandez works at the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy Wildland, and he's a firefighter. He's finally had time in his schedule to meet with us. So next week, we're going to be chopping it up. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about struggles. What are some of the challenges they've been dealing with lately, and make sure that he and his peoples who are working hard to keep houses and lives safe know that we love and support them. So that's what's happening next week. But this week, let's go find out what the guys are up to. Right. What's up, fellas?
Hey, how's it?
Good. Anil, how you doing, man? Oh, can anybody hear Anil besides me? Am I the only person who can't hear Anil? Aaron, can you hear him? Can you guys hear me?
I cannot hear him. I can hear you, but not Anil.
Eric, can you hear me?
Off to a hot start.
Just plug it in, Anil. Plug it in.
Just plug it in, buddy. Plug it in.
Or reconnect like I did.
Yeah, shut down and reconnect. Eric, how you doing, my man?
Doing well. Just loving the ocean breezes and the sunshine and all that good stuff here in the Aloha State.
Sweet. Now, Jillian is saying that she can't hear you either. Is that right? Jillian, can you hear Eric? Or just, are you talking about Anil? Anil, we feel bad, man. Like, we want to hear you, bro. We heard you like a few minutes ago. Let me see if I can work some magic on my end here. Let me see. It says that Anil, you're muted. So look on your computer, and maybe on your screen there it should say mute. Oh man. I hear him fine. I was talking about Anil. Anil, we miss you. We need you to know this. We miss you. And I'll tell you a little secret on my screen, Anil. It says that you're muted. You muted yourself. It says guest has muted themselves. So you're going to have to unmute yourself. You're going to have to find that unmute button. Check on your screen. Anil left us. He's angry. Ladies and gentlemen, Central California Conference has just left the building. No, Anil, he'll be back. Guys, so look at that. Look who's back in the house. Anil?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, buddy.
We can hear you, buddy.
Okay.
Now, slide your headphones back on.
Okay. I have no idea what it was. I mean, I was unmuted. You guys calling me out like I don't know how to do.
For those of you, Nancy, thank you for praying. Pray for us, Joanna. We need that prayer. For those of you who were just watching before we started live, we had a chance to talk out some stuff. Joanna says you need a wife. Oh, no, that was her official stance on those.
Oh, Joanna.
Just before we came on live, Anil looked at our screens and he says, "How come you guys look so nice and I look like I'm on AOL?" Oh. Guys, what are you drinking today? Share your drinks, please.
I've got
You know
water
what?
from
I just
Camp
had.
Waianae, man.
Fantastic. Eric, you got what? Is that
I got
Hawaiian
water
water?
from Camp Waianae. Absolutely. Aloha.
Nice, nice, nice. Anil, what about you, bro?
I just finished up LaCroix. I don't know if you guys know what LaCroix is. If you don't know what LaCroix is, I mean, you don't live in California, right? So right now I'm just drinking water. I'm just drinking water right now.
Fantastic, fantastic. Aaron, what do you got drinking, bro?
I'm a little disappointed in these guys. It's called tea time. We're supposed to be drinking tea, I
That's
believe.
my man.
So
That's my
I'm
man, Aaron.
drinking tea. It just does not have any leaves, so it's actually just water.
You know what? You're fired.
No,
that
no
whole
leaf
lead up. I was about to give Southeastern some props there, but you took us on a thriller ride that led nowhere, bro. Hey, so you guys are from the three closest conferences to me, barring Arizona, obviously. But you guys are pretty close, and so I'm really glad to have you on. Anil, can you just share what conference you're from and give them some shout out and some love right now?
Yeah, I'm from Central California Conference. Central California is from Bakersfield to Bay Area, so we're on the way to Northern California and we're on the way to Southern California. That's what Central is all about. So if you live in Central, around Central, you're part of the family. So
love the Central. All right, Aaron.
Yeah, so I'm your neighbor, man. Southeastern California Conference, which basically is Southern California minus LA, which of course is a big section to not have, but thankfully we got Pastor Icky patrolling over there. So SoCal, Southeastern California Conference.
Bro, you guys technically own the territory that has Disneyland in it, don't you?
Actually, yeah, we got Orange County too. So we have meetings there quite regularly. My office is actually located in Disneyland.
Okay. All right, buddy. Okay. Thanks for rubbing that in our face. Eric, where are you from, my man?
Yeah, we're from Hawaii. If you don't know where that is, go to Long Beach, go west about 2,000 miles, and you'll find some small islands out in the middle of the Pacific, the farthest place from nowhere. And yeah, man, we actually have the Disney Resort here on Oahu. So I'm based on Oahu. But yeah, love our Hawaii people and just so grateful to be able to serve over here.
Nice, nice. I want to start by asking you guys real quick. Is there like one thing that your conference is doing right now that you're just really like, yo, man, this is really popping. I'd love to share this with you really quick. So let's just start again from Anil at CCC, and we'll work our way down to Aaron and then Eric. Is there one thing that you're right now you could be like, hey, guys, just this is happening?
I'm sure everyone else is doing this, but we're just doing so many Zoom meetings right now, right? We are the Zoom epicenter of Adventism right now. So if you come to if you need a Zoom meeting any time of the week, any time of the day, that's what we got going on. So not just Zoom, but an oversaturation of Zoom meetings. That's who we are right now. That's what we are. So
I'm feeling that, bro. I hear you. I hear you. What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I think that goes for many of us. Very true. Something we're excited about is, doing some of these virtual events. We got Camporee coming up, man. Our SCCC Camporee. We're doing this big virtual program. We got some of our young adults who are currently involved with PUC out in Northern California Conference who are going to be doing some camping during the Camporee for us. So just trying some new stuff, and we're excited about it.
Man, Camporee as in Pathfinder's Camporee?
Yeah.
So for those of you who watch along and who aren't very familiar with Adventists, we have the military corp part of our Adventist denomination church is called Pathfinders, and that's where it's like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, and the kids they get uniforms and they get badges and they learn how to tie knots and put out fires or start fires correctly. I got kicked out of it, guys. All right, don't judge me. Don't judge me. Yeah. So, fantastic, bro. Thank you for sharing that. What about you, Eric? What's going on in Hawaii?
We're very good at lockdowns. If we're doing one thing well, it's lockdowns. But
yeah.
Besides that, we're pretty excited because our schools are able to still meet in person, our private schools. And so while everybody's been Zoomed out, last year we did Zoom week of prayers, but this year, last week, I finally got the okay to do in-person week of prayers. So I was like, I noticed all the kids are out at the flagpole in the morning, social distancing. Could we just do week of prayer outside so everyone's spread out? So we're stoked about that. And then we're going to do a live stream to some of our other schools that can't be there. But yeah, so we're starting to do the week of prayer tour, the academy this week, elementary schools starting next week. So yeah, kind of what we're in the middle of right now.
Right on, man. Thanks, guys. That's really cool to hear. So we're just going to do a quick show of hands, so that way those who are watching, or will catch this later on, as they're watching along, they'll kind of know a little bit about you. So just real quick, we'll start with the easy one. This is a softball lob to you. How many of you love Jesus? Just show of hands if you love Jesus. Okay, that's good. Aaron, okay. All right. All right. How many of you have always known that this was the area you wanted to work in when you came into ministry? Did you? If you did, raise your hand. If you, okay, there it is. Wow, fantastic. All right, I'm working with a bunch of Jonahs here. Fantastic. How many of you are married? If you're married, raise a hand. Anyone married? All right. Okay. All right. Okay. How many?
Sorry, Neil.
Yeah. Aaron's hand. Your hand was a little slow, Aaron. I don't know.
It's only been 2 months, so I'm still getting used to the new answer to that question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. I'm in that club. Right. Kevin put up a great question. He asked, "What did you want to become when you were coming into ministry?" We'll come back to that. Okay. How many of you felt super prepared for this current position when you took it? How many of you just knew? Yeah, I'm totally ready. yeah. I could feel the awkward silence between all of us. That's good. How many of you are generational Adventists? Generational Adventists? Cool. How many of you spend more time with leaders than actual like young people? Are you in that season right now where you feel like, man, I'm in the office more than I am out in the field? Okay, very cool. Okay, good questions. I want to come back to what Kevin asked, guys. And I want to start with Eric. Eric, what did you actually want to go into?
Was that an Eric or an Aaron?
That was an Eric question.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm one of those guys that probably had zero planning. It was just like go with the flow. You go through high school and they may say, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? The family planning, all that kind of stuff. I was like, well, what makes a lot of money? And I loved airplanes, started flying my senior year in high school. And I was like, oh, crop dusting makes like $450,000 a year. Sign me up for that. So then you find out that they have a really low life expectancy, either from crashing or the chemicals will kill you. So, I never really knew. It was just one of those things where every time God opened a door in something spiritual, I was like, yeah, let's do that. And so was actually a mission pilot for a while down in Venezuela, and then transitioned through lots of different avenues till showed up in youth ministry and was like, dude, this is actually really amazing. I never even thought about this being an option. So didn't really have a plan, but never said no to any opportunity that God provided. So
that's fresh. How much time did you spend down in Venezuela, bro?
I was down there for about a year, and I was planning on going back down, actually going to the country next to it, Guyana. Mm-hmm. And then God just pulled me in transition, just pulled me into conference work, and got married and that kind of thing, and just never left. So,
man, solid. Anil, what about you? Yeah. Like none of you raised your hands. So how did you end up?
Yeah, I wasn't born and raised an Adventist or Christian, but I definitely wanted to be a lawyer. So I was like, yes, I'm really excited about going into law. But then when I actually got into ministry, I actually had a desire to do public evangelism. Since then the Lord has brought me out of that desire. I did do it for a few years.
Yeah.
And so I'm a homebody. I just need to be in a home. I need to be in my community. I can't be gone for a month at a time.
Right.
Doing evangelism or whatever. But it was a blessing when I got to actually do it. But I realized, sometimes we think what our desires of our hearts are not actually our desires of our hearts long term. So yeah.
Nice. So did you go straight from that into youth ministry, young adult ministry?
No, so what I did is when I graduated from college, I was a youth pastor for about a year and a half, and then I joined a evangelism team. Then I did associate pastor. I took over the church. So I was pastoring for about 8 years. Then from there, I did 2 years of evangelism, and then from there, I did my I'm doing what I'm doing now currently, which is young adult ministry. So that's my resume right there.
Nice. Put that in my file somewhere. What about you, Aaron? Because you didn't raise your hand either. So tell us, how did you end up
Yeah,
here,
I
man?
think my initial plan was definitely to play in the NBA. When
Yes,
I realized
yes.
that wasn't going to happen as a like 16-year-old, it took a while for me to realize the dream wasn't going to happen. I wanted to be a sports writer, and I actually got my degree in journalism from Pacific Union College in Northern California. But it was also during college that I kind of got led towards ministry, which I'm super grateful for. But certainly administration was not the ultimate goal. You know, I love being a local church pastor, having a youth group, a young adult
Yes.
group, just doing ministry with young people. I think it doesn't get any better than that. But that being said, when I got invited to do some administrative work here for our conference last year, I also felt it was right to try the new opportunity, and so far I'm enjoying it.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Anil, so you're from Central California Conference. What is the biggest challenge that you face when it comes to ministry for next gen? That's millennials, Gen Zers in town. What have you found most challenging?
Sure. I think one of the, at least a couple things. One of the things I find most challenging is that within young adults, it's a spectrum, right? You have the collegiate age, then you have the young professionals, and then you have the ones that are sort of in between young adults and adults. And grouping them together and trying to do ministry it's very challenging. So I find that to be a challenge. Sometimes I don't know if there's an echo right now. Is there an echo?
It's Eric.
Okay, it's Eric. Okay.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
He just came back on. I'm blaming him.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I find that to be one challenge. The other challenge is not finding enough churches supportive of young adult ministries. So we tend to find young adults in isolated communities. And as much as we can host events and we can connect them to the bigger young adult ministry group we got going on, I find it's really challenging for those young adults. And I struggle with trying to find out ways to minister to them.
Wow. Very good. Aaron, what about you, man? You've got the same kind of struggle, or what is one of the challenging parts of ministry towards youth and young adults?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate what you just shared, Anil. I think, you know, in an administrative position, you can kind of serve as a bridge between an older generation who may value what once was with a newer generation that values what is yet to be done. And that can be beautiful, and that can also be a struggle. So I think learning how to be that bridge who gives a voice to everybody on the spectrum, which is ideally what church should be, right? The place where everybody has a voice and everybody can be heard and valued, but easier said than done. So I think that it's a beautiful struggle. I would also say, as somebody who spent, all of my 20s as a local church pastor, and then, as I mentioned, kind of moved into this unexpected role, there is something when you're working with leaders, ministry leaders, whether they be pastors or volunteers or whomever they may be, where you try to find that right balance between presence and availability, but then also space and trust. And that's something that I continually want to learn how to do well, and always trying to discover the best way to do that.
Interesting. Kevin asks, ooh, welcome back, Eric. Kevin asks, do you guys feel like, just show of hands, you guys, do you feel like your previous job opportunities that you pursued have helped you in your ministry now? If you felt like that's been true for you, just raise a hand. Show of hands there. Okay, I know. More or less, Aaron. Okay. And Eric will probably hear this after the show when he's got sound again. Anil, just real quick, how do you feel like it had helped you in your current position? How did God use it?
Sure. I think when I was pastoring, you learn how to shepherd, you learn how to work with people and disciple. when I was doing evangelism. You understand how the mind of someone outside the church thinks, right?
Right.
And you learn to create engaging, creative ways to reach out to people. And so when you come into young adult ministry, it's like a combination of all of those things, you know? And so I really feel like all the experiences I had in ministry really prepped me for this. And I have so much to learn. I'm really, sometimes I feel like I'm like, okay, what am I doing? But I am able to, I feel like I'm able to use the lessons that God has given me in the past. So I'm really grateful for all those experiences.
Awesome. What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, talking about how our previous positions prepared us. Is that right, Pastor Ricky?
Yeah.
I would say anytime that you can learn the ability to cultivate meaningful, authentic relationships, it will prepare you for any potential position or opportunity that you have. And so pastoral ministry, we know, is always something that should be relational for every age, right? Even as a youth or a young adult pastor, you're still ministering in your congregation to all ages. And so preparing me to walk alongside of people as they did life, which essentially is what a shepherd does, a pastor does, is something that serves me really well right now, because at the end of the day, it's still all about relationships.
Right on. So if you are all joining us right now today, I am hanging out with three of the coolest guys in three conferences nearby. We've got Central California Conference. Anil is there. We've got Southeastern, which Aaron is at. And then Hawaii, who's popping in and out of our screen here, is
two and a half
Eric.
guys.
We've got 2.5 guys rocking right now. We will get Eric on. By the way, we're trying this like new thing. So like I'm just using eCams. This is a beta version where they've got their platform on here and we kind of use it. So we're touch and go right now. And guys, don't worry, you're in great tradition, because every week I've got something that I blow. So don't worry about it. We're totally fine. Eric, welcome back on, man. Good to see you. I think Aaron can't hear us yet, but when Eric can hear us, he'll be happy about this. Keep working on it, Eric. We love you, man. We love you. Okay, let's pop back to some of the questions, guys. I wanted to ask you, Eric, what is your favorite part of the job? Actually, Eric can't hear us. So, Aaron, what is your favorite part of ministry right now, bro?
Ooh. You know what? Right now, I'm loving that it's such a season of innovation. Obviously, what are we on, month 7 or 8 since the pandemic hit? And I know that we all have a lot of fatigue. Yeah, a lot of fatigue from that. I heard a pastor tell me, Aaron, I've got innovation fatigue, and I get that. Like, that's certainly real. But it's also exciting to see pastors and leaders and young people kind of take ownership of, okay, the door is now open to try new things, and in a lot of ways to make it a little bit more youth and young adult oriented. So I'm just loving how kind of the playbook has been thrown out, because we're in such a unique circumstance. And I feel like so much more is on the table for how to do effective ministry. And, sometimes the church, we struggle to break through some of those walls, right? Of, well, the way it's been done before is the way we must always do it. But I think right now that's not necessarily the case. So I am loving the innovative spirit found in the church right now.
Nice. Anything you're loving right now, Anil?
Yeah, with all the Zoom meetings, it's been really interesting. I've had a different young adults come up to me recently, and some are like, I want to get baptized. Some are like, I want to start giving Bible studies. Others are like, I want to lead out in small group studies. And I'm not even doing any of the kinds of appeals for these things. I'm not trying to call for decisions. I'm not trying to persuade people to do these things. But what's awesome is just to see the work of the Spirit. And these young adults coming up to me, I'm like, in the Zoom meetings, I'm like, what? This is it's just been so awesome just to witness God, and it's really refreshed my soul just to see young adults just turning to the Lord and wanting more and are jumping in, because sometimes many times our church environments don't allow young adults to be involved. I mean,
right.
I remember there was a church I was a part of where they were like, we don't want young adults on as elders. And I'm like, you have young adults that are running, Fortune 500 companies, that are running millions of dollars per year with their companies in the Bay Area. And we have a problem with them being on the board or being, elder. So I'm just like, I feel like the current environment is creating a greater space and opportunities for young adults to be more involved and engaged than before. And I hope it doesn't change. I hope we keep going in that direction.
Yeah, bro, that's very right. I mean, we've got these young professionals, young adults, these collegiates who are handling heavy loads of intellectual material, academic material, clinical, medical material, and the church is kind of like, well, wait till you get some gray hair. Wait till you get some gray hair. Like I'm just starting to come out of the youth stage, and it's because I'm starting to get wrinkly and gray, and I feel bad about that. So. We've got to get that right. Oh, we've lost Eric completely, guys. Hawaii, where have you gone? Hawaii. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure Hawaii's going to make their way back on here. But we're going to carry on until Eric gets back. Okay. So, fellas, I wanted to move to a section that we call 3-2-1. And it's a section where we give real practical tools for individuals who come on here. So obviously we always want your story to be shared so that you can be really inspirational, and it creates innovation in others to think, oh yeah, if these guys can do it, or if this gal is doing it, maybe I can too, right? So we share that, but I always want to give out some kind of practical tool that people can. Hey, Eric, I think we need to pause for a second and let's welcome Eric. Eric, welcome back from Hawaii. Eric still isn't quite back with us, ladies and gentlemen. You can see by like the blank stare in his eyes. You'll get there, Eric. We love you, and if you watch this afterwards, please know we support you. I do want to do the 3-2-1. So. The 3-2-1 basically is practical tools that we can give people. And I want to give both of you, or all three of you, an opportunity to, when Eric is able to really get in.
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Eric.
So.
Yes, we're excited, bro. Can you hear us okay, Eric? Oh.
No.
He's writing, let me... I can't see that last part. Can anybody
raise it up? Raise it up.
Let you what? Let me in? Is that what he's saying? This is hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on. I'm sitting with three of the professional leaders.
But I can't see you. Can you actually hear me?
Oh yeah, we can see you. We can hear you.
No, there's not the host.
It's
just out.
We can see you and we can hear you perfectly. So if you can hear us, just roll with us, bro. He's gonna write. He's writing on paper. Okay, so here we go. I want to do the 3-2-1 with you guys, if you don't mind. Let's go. We'll start with Aaron. Aaron, can you give us 3 easy tips on something someone can do immediately to help them minister more effectively to youth and to young adults?
Yeah, man. Super good question. I think that all of this goes into the umbrella of meeting your group or your individual where they're at, right? So we have to consider the place that they're coming from. If you are working with Gen Z, for example, then it's probably a good idea to really try to discover the core values and characteristics of the Generation Z young people. And that does shift a little bit based upon who you're with and the context and the area. But for the most part, we know things about that group. And my greatest, I guess, tip would be to not try to establish something that says, hey, you meet us over here and then you're part of the church, or rather we will meet you where you are at. And so when it comes to our younger people, if you are serving our youth, our young adults, just 3 quick things that come to mind. Obviously, we know that they are digital natives or so innately connected with technology, and that's not a bad thing. Okay, so we often think of that as such a negative, but it's not. It's actually a positive thing. However, it does mean that being present in somebody's life holds greater value than ever, because we are so connected through technology that presence is often avoided. And so I would say be a consistent presence. Maybe you've heard it said before that we used to look for the sage on the stage, but today young people want the guide on the side. And I think simply being present is super, super valuable. I guess the second thing would be, our young people are being raised in a world that creates a lot of worry and anxiety. there was a Time magazine article that said that if you were to try to concoct an environment or a culture that was anxious, we have the perfect recipe right now. When you think about a post 9/11, post Great Recession world, and a lot of hard things that are coming and have taken place. And so if our young people are courageously fighting off anxiety, then I think it's important to just always be safe. And I know we use that word a lot, but being somebody who is not going to cast judgment, no matter how strange or shocking a conversation might be, somebody that can be trustworthy and open and not disparaging towards any person or group of young people will gain a lot of relational capital. So I would say be present, be safe, and then the last thing would probably be to consider that our young people are often a little bit more cautious towards religion than maybe previous generations. And there are probably some good reasons for that, and maybe some not so good ones. But it just means that as leaders, we want to be authentic. We want to be very real. We don't need to necessarily pretend to have the lingo down and use these cool words that will make young people think we're one of them. No, we don't need to do that. We just need to be ourselves, our honest, authentic selves, and that will gain respect as well. And so I would say, yeah, being present, whether it be like just a phone call or a text message showing I'm available, being safe, being sure to let them know that you are available for all of those conversations that could be happening, and then being authentic, I think goes a long way in establishing healthy relationships with young people today.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Now, was that 3?
It was maybe like 6, but I tried.
I think, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think I've lost you guys now.
You can't hear us?
I want to ask Eric if you can, Anil, go ahead, Anil, share your 3.
Yeah. For me, by the way, I really appreciate what Aaron was saying. He articulates it far better than I can. I'm like a caveman when I start speaking. I think for me, one thing that I found to be so crucial for working with youth and young adults is having a small group they can be a part of. I know that sounds cliche, but I am such a fan of this. And what I mean by small group or group, it's where there's a most comfortable environment and an informal discussion of the Word of God. And what I mean by informal discussion is that you're not talking the Word of God at them, you're talking the Word of God together. And I have found that to be so instrumental because it respects the minds of youth and young adults. This is why Jesus would ask questions. So I have made this the foundation of my ministry, where I'm like, I want to build young adult groups where they can study the Word of God together, and and in a comfortable environment, not the church, but at someone's home. So to me, I feel like this is so practical. And depending on obviously your church situation, your county situation with COVID, I get what's going on, but any way that you can bring them together to be part of that is just, to me, I feel it's so instrumental. When people get excited about the Word of God, it's just an amazing thing. Amazing things happen. The second thing I would say is this is, and again, if it's possible, when I visited India, we went to Pakistan also, and you guys know Pakistan, India used to be one country before the partition. It used to just be all of India. And my family's background is from Sikh, or Sikh is, we're a Sikh background. So we went to the birthplace of Sikhism during this trip, and we met a Sikh man renovating the first Sikh temple. Sikhs are the ones with turban, and he offered us food. And you know what he said to us? He says, "Where there is no food, there is no temple." And essentially, he connected this idea of God with food. And to someone who's like Indian, and I'm sure many other cultures, I really think that if it's doable and it's appropriate, that you can take your kids or young adults out to eat. It just breaks down barriers to be able to connect with people. I know this stuff is like pretty much like, I'm nothing special. I'm just like, okay, I know this stuff works.
Right.
I know this stuff works. The third thing I would say is, if you can't get them immediately, connect them to a group. If you can't just take them out, I would say just even calling them up and just letting you're praying for them, and even sharing something encouraging. I mean, if this is what's possible now, I mean, you'd be surprised how much God can really use these things. These simple things.
True, very true. Yeah, I mean that ministry of presence is so powerful, and if we learned how to do that more authentically, right, so that people don't feel like we're trying to sell them something, or we're trying to put them on a 12-step program, man, it's just a powerful thing. And when we start to do it as a community, it really begins to flex and change the way that people relate to the church overall. So Eric is my man. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Hawaii Conference for sticking with us. Even though he just texted me, he literally cannot see or hear anything we're doing right now. So
Icky?
Yep.
Can you just tell Eric to stay there? That's perfect.
Yeah.
He's like a figurehead. We
Dude,
just need him there.
He's like some of my friends, who in Zoom meetings they take pictures of themselves and then they put it up so that everyone thinks they're there when really they're out somewhere else. Eric, you rock, man. I'm gonna read. Eric actually texted me his three practical tools that you can put to use, and so I'll read it for you. If you haven't seen Eric's comment in here, his greatest fear in ministry is technology failure. So let me share with you Eric's 3. Get a hobby, he says. Get a hobby, something that provides an opportunity to hang out. Right? Give an opportunity to hang up. Number 2, hang out and build a relationship. Build a relationship. That's fantastic. For those of you who are trying to figure out, hey man, like what can I do practically to like connect with some of my young people? Go hang out. Now I know you can't do that right now. Everybody, let's be safe. All right. This is not the season to hang out per se, but this is something that I think, Aaron, you spoke to when you said, look, young people are online. Find them in places that you can find them at. Don't be afraid of it. Don't villainize that particular mode of communication and relationship building. Get there and do it. And then finally, his third one, Eric says, look for opportunities to speak life. Connect them with the one who gives it freely. John 10:10, right? For I came to give you life and life more abundantly. I hope that's what it says. That came off the top of my head. Can you guys approve that or not?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't want anyone ever thinking I'm a Bible whiz. Like this is not true. Like everyone else, I got to read my word, otherwise I forget it. Those are fantastic, Eric. Thank you so much for those 3. I want to ask 2 practical tips of something someone can do to create a more sustainable pace when it comes to ministry and relating and discipleship and mentoring. Let's start with Anil.
Okay.
Oh, who was that? Who just said I? Was
Me?
that you, Anil? Go ahead.
Yeah. For me, what I have found to be so good is, and I used to give advice when I was pastoring at Bible workers. I'd give them this advice, and now I follow this advice, which is once every few weeks, you need to get out of town. And I know this sounds like, okay, whatever, but you need to be able to visit friends who do not judge you, who love you, where you don't have to turn on sort of the ministry lights. And you just feel good there. They feed you. It has been this experience has been some of the most rejuvenating experience. And people take breaks. They're like, I take a day off, but they're still in their town where they still do work still do ministry.
Yep.
You can't disengage until you leave your town. And so, for me, I find that to be part of my regular recalibration. Is once every few weeks I get out of town and I go visit some friends, and
nice.
I just come back just ready to go. The second thing I think is super important is you got to exercise.
Oof.
Like you just got to exercise. You got to
Don't call me out, bro. Don't do it, man.
you got to lift. You got to run. You got to do something that gets your heart pumping. Look, I really think that if you take care of yourself physically, you'll much better able to deal with all the other things in life. Like I just feel it's so crucial. And if you need to get out in nature, go and get in nature. Whatever it is, make sure you get some physical exercise. I think in I don't know if the word is fulcrum, but in the particular part of balancing, a lot weighs on your physical habits. And I just feel like if you take care of yourself, you'll be be able to manage the other challenges of life. So those are just 2 quick practical tips.
Very good, bro. Thank you so much. Aaron, what do you got for us, man? 2. Give us 2.
Yeah, dude, those were really, really good. What you just said, Anil, and I'm really enjoying this conversation because it reminds me how much I admire my colleagues and how blessed we are in the union to have this leadership team. So thank you. I want to echo that. I think self-care is so vitally important, and I just would echo what Anil said. So I'm going to offer 2 other very quick things. Number one is stop comparing yourself as much as you can. I know it's such a human thing to do, but if you are finding that there are systems in place in your life or habits that lead to the continual and constant comparison game, it's a very good chance that that's not helping your ministry. It's actually holding it back. And even further than that, not just your ministry, but your own life and mental well-being. So obviously the easy ones to pinpoint would be, things like social media that just throw in our face maybe how, insufficient our life or ministry may be, but also other things that can lead us to just falling into that trap of comparison. So I would encourage you to take initiative and actual steps to lessen the comparison game and remind yourself that only you can do it your way, and that's the way it should be done. And then I guess the second one would be, and this is a little bit maybe more philosophical. I like to focus on practical things. We want to do that. But I would say, remind yourself that your worth and value is not found in what you do or how much you do or how much you produce. It's found in who you are. That it's not in doing, it's in being. And that's actually a very Christian and particularly Seventh-day Adventist value, in that we have, a seventh-day Sabbath that we really prioritize and emphasize. And a lot of us think of it as, what that does is it gives us a 24-hour break so that we can get back to doing and doing some more, as if that's what it's about.
Yeah.
But I would contend that really Sabbath is actually the opposite of that. It's kind of a rebuttal against this idea that our value is in what we do, because we say, hey, no matter what, I'm going to stop.
Right.
That's a word.
I'm not defined by doing. Right. I'm defined by being. So if we remind ourselves that our value is not found in what we achieve or produce, it's in who we are, I actually think that creates a healthier mentality to do ministry. And I'm sorry if that, again, a little bit too philosophical.
No,
this practical enough, but it's been helpful for me.
This is why Aaron gets paid the big bucks, guys. I think they pay him over there. Words of truth and wisdom, man. If you guys are catching on, and actually this really applies much further than just ministry itself. Listen, people, if you're watching along, don't compare yourself. Don't do it. You don't have to. You've been created uniquely, wonderfully, fearfully, just the way you are. And if you want to hate yourself, go ahead and start the comparison game. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. If you're a minister, don't compare yourself. You don't have to preach like anybody else. You don't have to be.
Icky, can I tell a quick story?
Yes,
about
bro.
That?
Tell it, man. Tell it.
Real quick. I was in college, and this preacher comes to do a week of prayer. And not only was he engaging, but he was funny. The way he told stories were so good. And at the end of every message, I just felt so fired up. I'm like, he is so good. And he was also super buff and tan. He actually looked a lot like
I hate those guys,
same
bro.
name and everything. And,
no, he wasn't. You stop lying right now. First of all, I'm not old enough to do a week of prayer while you're a student.
You did, bro. You did. Because you were doing it from a young age. But I remember the first time I ever was introduced to your ministry, you did a week of prayer when I was in college. And, Patrick, I'll just be honest, you nailed it, man. You are very gifted as a speaker, as a motivator, as a leader. And I would say that was one event of a few that led me towards ministry. But from there, I kind of had the decision to make. Was I getting into ministry to try to be the next Icky, which, newsflash, I couldn't be, and I shouldn't want to be, right?
Yeah,
or was I getting into ministry to offer the gifts I had been given? So there are a lot of people out there who can set that high standard, like yourself. But that'd be no good if I was just trying to strive to be you, man. Because thankfully we already got you. We don't need another you, right?
Bro, I'm humbled and honored that you would even say that about me. I listen. I thank God you didn't try to be me. Life is rough enough for everybody that there's one me in this world, and I really thank you for that story. And you know what? To be honest, when I was coming in through ministry, I was told many times that I was not ministry material. I'd heard that from a lot of sources, and even in some of the conferences that I was in, to reconsider. And so, yeah, we all deal with it. You know, we all deal with, well, am I supposed to be more like that or like this? And so, and praise God, man, you're doing a phenomenal job, Aaron. Eric, he texts me some more things because even though we can't hear him, he's rolling with us. Thank you, Conference of Hawaii. We appreciate you. Mahalo to you. This is what he said. Eric said two things. Invite others into ministry and then mentor them in it, which is fantastic. That creates sustainability because if it's one thing, at least I don't know about everybody, but ministers tend to be this way. I'm going to have this task and I'm going to do all of it by myself. And I'm going to preach, and then I'm going to sing a song, and then I'm going to do a little drama, and then I'm going to pick up the tithe, and then when you leave, I'm going to clean the pews because I can do it. The Lord put me into this kind of stuff. But in reality, the irony there is that it becomes a very lonely work to do. And we weren't ever called to do anything alone. And so invite others into ministry and then mentor them through it, because the more they get empowered, guess what? The more time you can have to slow down and make sure you're balanced on your end. So that's fantastic, Eric. I hope that's what you meant by it. I just started saying things about your text, so I hope that makes sense. Number 2, he says, stop something today. Stop something today. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. And that's got quite a few implications depending on how you read that. So I'm going to leave that for you to interpret. And if Eric happens to get his voice back before the time we end, I'd love for him to share a little bit. In fact, Eric, if you can hear us, and you can, would you like to say something about that?
Apparently not.
Then we're gonna move on then. Okay, last one, guys. If you guys can give me one tip of how we can retain our young people. Our church is going. When I say our church, I don't mean the denomination of Seventh-day Adventists. I mean the church. Christianity is having a definite down spiral of losing our young people. And our church is doing the work at trying to continue to retain that. That's why they've got great ministers out there. They've got these amazing young adult directors, youth directors, who you guys are just hitting the ground running, and you're loving people, and you're loving your ministers, you're loving young people. So where do you guys think, what is one thing that we could all do right now that will help retain our youth and our young adults in our faith communities? I want to start with Anil, and by the time Eric hears this, we might be through Aaron, so Eric can weigh in if he can.
Yeah, for me, I feel like one thing that's really, really crucial is understanding the big picture idea behind what we believe in and being able to communicate it. I'm writing a book right now on apologetics. This isn't some cheesy advertisement moment right now. So
there it is.
Here's my book. But anyways, the point I'm trying to bring out is this, that one thing that was really, really helpful for me, and one thing I really believe in is we need to be able to explain, okay, not just scripture verses behind I believe in this, but be able to explain like the big reasons why, the big picture idea. And the big picture idea always resonates with the heart more than it really does with the mind. And so I really believe that. I really believe that if there's ever a time that we need to be able to explain the big picture ideas behind our major biblical beliefs, it's now. And I think that helps develop in the minds of young people, hey, what I believe in isn't crazy. Hey, what I believe in isn't unreasonable or sensational. There are really good. It's very reasonable. It's something that's emotional, and I have a personal burden for that. I know there's other ways we definitely need to help young people stay connected. But for me, I just feel like, man, I like one of the reasons why like I really appreciate this time right now. I was reading an article by Christianity Today. They called this generation the Justice Generation. I don't know if you've heard that term before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this refers to that we're now dealing with all the mistakes of the past. They finally caught up with us, you know?
Yeah.
And I believe this is also in the midst of everything that's going on. It's also a critical time for us to be able to re-examine and reframe what we believe in, and to be able to share, hey, look, here's and I think primarily for youth and young adults, as their identities are developing, as their thinking processes are happening, and they're making determinations. I think having a belief system, a religion that is like consistent and harmonious with the big picture dynamics
Yeah.
of the universe, I think are so crucial than ever before. I know
Yeah.
that's a mouthful, but I think you guys get my point. So
Yeah, that's a major restructuring work, actually. I know, and we're glad that you're willing to take that on and creating this book on apologetics. We look forward to it coming out December 13th. No, I'm playing.
this
Keep us updated, bro. Keep us updated.
Thank you.
Aaron, what do you got for us, bro? What's one thing we could all do practically right now that will help us retain our young people?
Yeah, that's a pretty important and also heavy question. I'm sure all of us could talk for hours about that, considering the work that we do. But to narrow it down, I would say that in my experience, there is often a fear amongst Christians that if we are to allow younger generations to have things their way in the church that they envision, that it's going to quite literally go to hell and everything will fall apart.
Right.
And with that will come God's punishment for us, essentially. And I would contend that, in fact, not only is God not looking to condemn us if we allow the young people to have a greater voice and direction, but perhaps God is actually actively working and speaking through them in the new ways that they see what the church can be.
Wow.
I think it's important to remember that God did not go silent when the book of Revelation ended and the canon closed, but that when Jesus promised the Holy Spirit to continue speaking and working, that he really meant it. And that idea that God is actually giving us, instruction and leading us, and the Spirit is active right now. It's on the move, it's breathing, it's living, it's doing something. And perhaps that includes through the justice generation. I think that's how you called it, Pastor Nil. What if this new sense of compassion, which I think is a good thing that our young people have, the sense for justice and how the church can have that voice, what if that's actually God-led? Brian Blount says that that there's such value in understanding Scripture not as the last word, but as the living word. So it continues to go on. And so instead of us always trying to hold on to what we once had, perhaps we can be open to what God is doing right now. And maybe the question we should be focusing on, and one of my pastors, I was having coffee with one of our pastors, and he said, I think, Aaron, we're asking the wrong question. Here's the last thing I'll say. He's like, I think we're asking the wrong question. It's not how do we retain our young people. It's what is the gospel? What really is the gospel? And what we find it to really be, how do we then allow it to live and breathe in our context today? And so I've just been thinking about that a little bit. And I like to think that if we believe that God could be continuing to speak today, that maybe we would be more open to how our young people see the church and what it could become, and maybe they would feel like they have a greater and more firm place in it.
Nancy said that she has a 12-year-old, and it's refreshing to hear what you all have to share. Amen. Nancy, amen to that. I love hearing these guys here and reading Eric's text to me on the side. You guys are thank you for coming on. You guys are so smart. You make me look dumb, man. I should not have brought you on, because then Southern California Conference people might see how much horrible of a job I'm doing here. And I'm not supposed to compare, but you're inspiring me to do amazing things, guys, and it feels good and bad. Eric says this was his thing. Get them involved in service. JFK meets Jesus. Ask not what your church can do for you, but what you can do for God's church. Service is a way that shows everyone is needed. has a place to serve. People want to feel needed. Once they catch the bug, they won't leave. That's true. Something powerful about feeling like you make a difference, and the church should really just kind of get around that. I've always said that the community services, Adventist community services, should be like one of the central pillars of our church, instead of like the periphery thing that like the old people are running, right? They're like, oh, I think we have one somewhere in the back of our church in a closet somewhere. Look for Sister Habakkuk. She's back there somewhere. You know what I mean? Like that should really, I mean, if we learned how to pivot that more central to like, look, this is what we're doing, guys. We're going to build out a thrift store. We're going to rock a food pantry. We're going to do this and that. And people start getting around that, man. It changes the way, it shifts the way that we culturally do church. Because right now, culturally, our job is to come dressed up and pretend like we're all okay, even though we're not. Right. And be careful. We don't want to get judged by anyone else. And that's generational. That's a generational sin that church has pushed on us. Not just Adventism, but a generational sin for all of Christianity that we've got to work around somehow. Very cool. Guys, I can't believe it's 5 o'clock already. Our time is up. And you know what? Eric has been such a great he's been such a great guy. He's been like hanging with us the whole time. I saw he shot me a screenshot of what it looks like, and apparently this is one of the issues that Ecamm, the platform I have, is going through because it's a beta, and sometimes the participant just says waiting for host to let them in, and in reality they're in. So sorry everyone out there in the world. Eric didn't have an opportunity to really respond and hang with us and convo with us because Ecamm, not me. Ecamm, I'm going to blame it on the platform, Ecamm. But we're going to work on that so that next time these guys come on, we'll be able to actually hold a great convo together. Eric, thank you so much. Anil, thank you so much, man, for coming on here. And yes, Aaron, you are a rock star. Thank you for all you're doing over there, Southeastern. Thank you, Central California Conference. Thank you, Hawaii. Before we go, I know our time's up. We're going to do one thing. We're going to play Love One, Leave One, because that's just something we do around here, all right? Let me explain to you how we do this, my friends. Basically, what we do is we have a game called Love One, Leave One, and I'll give you two options of two things that you'll have to choose between. Once you choose that thing, whatever you love, we can all use and enjoy. Whatever you didn't mention, we leave, and that thing disappears from existence for eternity. So like no one else can ever use that thing again. All right, no pressure. But if you get rid of it, we can't enjoy it, the world. Eric, if you're watching along and you happen to be right in rhythm with us, feel free to drop those in the comments. And like you all do every week, get ready to just chomp on your keyboard and drop out some responses on the Love One, Leave One. I've got to reframe us because of the whole new Ecamm beta that I'll be using for the next weeks. But let me just see if we look right. Oh, actually, we don't look too bad. So I'm going to go for it. You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Okay. In 3. Wait, let me prepare myself. Hey, Eric, if you hear us, put it into the comments on the actual stream, and we'll see it there. All right? Love One, Leave One. Here we go, everyone, as we close out today. Thai food or Japanese food?
Japanese.
Thai.
Do we just shout it out?
Yeah, just shout it out. Just shout it out. We only got a minute and a half, guys. If you don't, it's going to be lost.
Are we shouting out Love One or are we shouting
Love
out
One? Yeah. Say love,
okay,
and then say what you're going to do. All right.
Love Thai food. Love Thai food. Leave Japanese food.
Excellent. Okay. Spicy or sweet? One's got to go forever, so you
Love
never.
Sweet, leave spicy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Love sweet.
Are we working together or? Is
No, just what? Yeah, it's all everyone for
Okay.
themselves right now. Whatever you want.
Okay.
Broccoli or spinach?
Leave broccoli. Love spinach.
Love spinach.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Eric put love. That's what Eric put. Suit or shorts?
Leave suit. Love shorts.
Oh, love shorts.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. YouTube or TikTok?
Leave
YouTube.
TikTok. Love YouTube.
Love. So what do you said? Love TikTok. What do you said? Love YouTube. Haystacks or Special K loaf?
Oh man.
Love haystacks.
I'll tell you this. I love Special K-Lo too. I love them both. I can't choose.
You gotta choose one quickly.
Hey, I love haystacks. I'll leave them, K-Lo.
Oh, that was a lot of pressure. I could tell. Anil, you really you were really struggling with that. Is that what won you over to Adventism? You can be honest, Anil. Was it?
That's it. It's in my testimony.
That was the one. All right, very cool. We had a few others, but because it was a few rough questions in there, you guys answered the best you could. So thank you for doing that.
Eric is still answering questions.
Eric is still going. Eric, you get the extra time, bro. Joanna says that he's wearing shorts during this interview right now. That Anil, you're wearing shorts. Anil, are you wearing shorts right now?
No, but I am wearing pajamas.
Aaron, what are you wearing? Aaron, what are you wearing right now? Aaron, what are you wearing in your bottom half?
I do have jeans on.
Oh,
so
jeans.
That's pretty
Okay.
classy in comparison.
Yeah, I got jeans too. Eric, what are you wearing? Eric's gonna not be able to answer us till tomorrow, but we'll see it on the stream. Eric, I bet Eric's wearing shorts. No, he looks like he might be wearing khaki shorts. What do you guys think he's wearing?
Yeah, khaki shorts.
Khaki shorts. What do you think, Aaron? What do you think Eric's wearing?
Flip-flops.
He's probably got a wetsuit on underneath. He's ready to go. So he's probably surfing.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna. Oh, those are khaki-ish pants. Nice. All right, my friends, thank you for joining us. If you were with us all day today, I was with Eric Vandenberg from Hawaii Conference, Anil Kanda from the Central California Conference, and Eric Renneker from the Southeastern California Conference. These guys are continuing to do amazing, beautiful, wonderful things. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Thank you for giving your life to God. I know it's not an easy task, and I know it's really difficult to unify and work for the young people, but that's the cause God has called you to. Everyone else, feel free to leave a like, subscribe. Join us again next week. We're going to be talking with our firefighter friend who has been working most recently up in some quite dangerous places. He's going to share and talk with us again about life, firefighting, and faith. Until next week, my friends, please stay safe, and may the Lord bless you and keep you and love you. Guys, do you have anything to say on our way out?
Oh, God bless you guys.
This was a lot of fun. Grateful.
Yeah.
I am thankful for you guys too, man. Love you guys. Thank you again for coming on here. And yes, it's the elections 3 weeks later. Eric. God bless you all. We'll talk to you guys.